Hey there, let's get you started with the red flag screen, and this is for back pain. The red flags, these are going to be signs of potentially more serious pre-existing medical conditions that should be evaluated by a medical professional. And I would encourage you to do that before you start a program like this, but it's going to be a sign that there's something to be checked out for something more severe. Jumping into the red flag screen, the first thing is going to be pain with traumatic onset. So if your pain started because of an accident, something like a motor vehicle accident or a fall from a ladder like this, or you took a hard collision in a sporting event, these are all going to be red flags and something to see a medical professional about. Next is going to be atrophy or asymmetry, and we're comparing right and left sides here. So compare your right and left legs, and notice, is there anything abnormal between these sides? And everyone's going to have minor deviations. It's natural as part of life, but we're looking at any major anomalies. And specifically this word atrophy, it means wasting away of muscle. So if you notice muscle groups are getting smaller on just one side specifically, like this example here, we notice the calf on that right side is significantly smaller, and that would be a red flag. The next red flag is going to be obvious dysfunctional movement, and specifically two screens here. So I want you to bend down and try to touch your toes and then perform a squat. And if you don't feel comfortable with the normal squat, go ahead and sit down to a bench or a chair. And what I want you to look for is any sort of moving side to side to achieve those movements. So if you're significantly leaning over to one side to do your forward bend or your squat, that would be a red flag. And then something like this, where you're having to walk your hands down the legs or have to walk your hands up the legs to achieve those movements, those would all be red flags. Next is going to be any sort of radiating pain or numbness, and that's specifically below the buttocks. So if you notice that you have radiating pain or some numbness running down the backside of the leg specifically, those are going to be all red flags. We're looking for swelling, so if your leg is getting puffy. And then also we have this sign of weakness. Okay, so weakness in regards to normal daily activities are hard for you, especially if you have been active previously to that. So don't get caught up, I can't squat my normal 400 pounds. But weakness like, I was once active and these movements weren't an issue, now I have problems with things like standing up or bending down to pick things up. And that's going to be a sign that you need to see a medical professional. And also in regards to weakness, I want you to look for this ability to walk on the toes and on the heels. Okay, so this can be a sign. Can you perform this? And if not, that would be a red flag as well. Moving forward, we're looking for any sort of changes in bowel or bladder function. And then red flag 6, unable to find a position of comfort. So no matter what you do, any sort of movement is uncomfortable. And look at things like laying down to go to sleep. Okay? This should be, you may find some discomfort in certain positions, but if you can't move around and find something that's comfortable for that, if you're losing sleep, I would see a medical professional for further evaluation. Unexpected weight loss or gain. In addition to that, I'm going to say with any sort of history of cancer. So if that is in your background, see a medical professional about those issues. Next, we have pain with more than 3 exercises. So you're going to go through the crossover activation program as we get through this red flag, and I want you to look for any sort of pain in the low back as you go through the movements. Now, pain itself is not immediately ruling it out. You may notice some discomfort, and I would actually encourage you to push through some of that discomfort. I want you to move through some of that restriction you feel in the low back. So part of that back pain is those muscles restricting and spasming, and movement is actually going to be a great solution to allowing that to relax a bit. But if the pain is too unbearable, or if you notice the pain is getting worse as you go through the movements, I would encourage you to first just skip over that exercise, and we'll just try to progress you through those movements. And if you have to do that with more than 3 exercises, though, I would say that's a red flag at that point. Your pain should be evaluated before moving forward with this program. And then lastly, if you're not seeing improvement after 2 weeks of following the program, so you've had some low back pain, you've been really careful with following the red flags or the 30-day fix restrictions, and you're really taking care of yourself in regards to strengthening and try to work through those issues, and things are not getting better, or even worse, things are getting worse, that would be a red flag and a reason to see a medical professional. So there are your red flags. If those all check out, go ahead and move forward with the 30-day fix program.